What y'all doing? I'm thinking that today we should go over cream products and how to use them. I will hop off and film the cream blush, but I'll talk about the cream blush. I have some ideas. So this isn't going to be mostly about, it won't be really be about eye makeup, but also really quickly, y'all wanted to know what I used for my hair yesterday. So this is the one that I used. GHD did send it to me, but I don't talk about hair. I'm bad at hair. I'm really bad. My hair has a naturally wavy, curly texture, so it just wants to hold curl. And this is actually what my hair looks like, just air dried. Not these really tight ones, but more down here. So my hair just wants to hold this. I retouched 2 of these little ones in the front, and this is still from yesterday, but this is the wand and it's wonderful. And actually it only took me about 25 minutes to do all of my hair. And a lot of questions I also got is if this is all of my hair. Yep, this is all me. Oh, don't look too close, it's dirty. But yes, this is all my hair and this is what I used, and it really is fantastic. It's spicy priced, but it's fantastic. And I have purchased GHD tools, and I normally wait for the Sephora sale that happens every spring and then winter. Now, before we move on, we need to talk skin prep. And the reason we need to talk skin prep is because when we use certain cream bronzers, certain cream blushes, certain liquid bronzers, certain liquid blushes, guess what? They want to dry down. And I know that some of you are new, but a lot of times I talk about my eyeshadow base and why I use certain eyeshadow bases, because they don't dry down. And what that does, it gives you more time to blend. Now, I'm a visual person and I'm going to show you, but we need to talk skin prep first. So let me grab my skin prep. Huda Tantour is a great example. So this one will dry down. That's not a bad thing, but that means that we need to use different skin prep for this. Even if you're oily, I would recommend a dry oil. That doesn't mean we're gonna be an oil mess, I promise, but you want something that kind of dries as it goes. I know I talk about this one a lot. This is not an ad. It would say ad right here if it was, but this one just pairs so nicely with these kind of products, with makeup. It just pairs nicely and it never separates, it never gives me issues, and it dries down. It's really, really nice. I am going to try my best to find us a more affordable version, but the reason you don't see me duping skincare a lot is because of the ingredients paired together and the ingredient dosage. So skincare is a lot harder to dupe for me. So a really easy way to find out if the cream bronzer you have is going to dry down or not is just kind of do a little swatch on your face. Okay, there we have our little swatch. This one is from Patrick Ta. It's this cream side right here. I know that this one doesn't dry down, but you might not know what you have. It gets a lot more technical when you start reading for ingredients. So swatch it on your face. And I do have my skincare on right now, so that is going to slow the drying process. I don't have the oil and I don't have the moisturizer over here. I just have my serum, it's called lotion / toner. Then I have my serum and my eye cream, but I don't have moisturizer on yet because I like to use that as skin prep. This right here is the Huda, and then you're going to see, wow, those are so similar. I did a good job on that. And then you'll see this one is going to start to dry down. While I have you here, let's look at this undertone. See how this is more neutral, maybe a little bit more red, and this has so much more warmth. Orange is not, I feel like we've mistreated the word orange. It's not a bad thing. It's gonna add a lot of warmth, very much like Adele's look yesterday. So it's not a bad thing, but you can totally see that they are similar, but this one is more neutral, more red. So a good way to test, as you can see, I'm barely flicking this and it's blending in. That's going to be really easy to blend. And then you can see I'm flicking this the same way and notice that it's dried. That's just a good way to kind of see what kind of bronzer you already have. Will it dry down? Will it not dry down? It's just a really easy way. I wish somebody would have told me. So I'm going to go ahead and put my moisturizer on. That's all I'm going to say. This under makeup, all skin types. Even if you're oily, please, it's incredible. And just keep an eye out. I know it's expensive, but keep an eye out because Elemis does seem to have sales quite often. And they have deals on Ulta. Just keep an eye out. That's what I'll say. But the way that this pairs with makeup, magic. And then this is the Anissa Beauty All Over Care Brush. It's my little extraction I did. Got it out though. And I know you heard me mention the oil. I'm going to get back to that in just a second. But if we were just going to use a bronzer right now that didn't dry down, this would be enough. Like the Patrick Ta one that I just showed. So I'm actually going to do one side with powder foundation so you can see how I do that. And then one side with liquid/cream foundation. Liquid and cream would be the same application because it would go on top. But I'm going to show you how I do both. But really quickly, I want to do eye makeup. Really fast eye makeup. Give me something. Where's my eyeshadow base? Where's my super suit? I sometimes quote that all the time. I love that movie, the first one. So I'm going to grab clean canvas. I'm just doing something really quick. Said rose that turned into a glitter rhinestone euphoria look. Can't be trusted when it comes to that. C31, and I'm just going to use the shade Fair today. I'm going to grab this shadow. This one's from Mob. I feel like this is MAC Soft Brown, but better somehow. Woo! Perfect. And then I'm going to show you another little trick I'm going to do. So this doesn't need to look perfect for right now. But let's go ahead and use the side of the brush to really set that eyeshadow base. I'm really pressing it in. I might have to grab a hairbrush and sing this song, hang on. And then, just to blur everything, I'm gonna grab powder foundation in my shade. Stuff's amazing, by the way. Look how smoothing it is there. And we'll just transition with that. I just did 2 taps of it as well. So 2 taps per eye. Easy peasy. Let's just grab 2 more taps and we'll just go ahead and set the lid here. This is easy peasy. If you're in a hurry, powder foundation. Woo! And then I'm gonna keep holding on to this. I'm gonna keep it out, because we're going to use it in just a second. It's one of my favorite techniques. Let's do this Makeup Forever brown liner. You know, I feel like that's another thing we don't talk about. You notice how I kind of pulled this away so I could blink? You're not really going to lose your place. And then we'll just fill it in and clean the rest up with micellar water. But don't worry, I'm gonna show you. See how I just pulled that down? And then I'll let this keep rolling. Love this Bioderma stuff right here. And by stuff, I mean micellar water. It's the one with the green cap. Love it. We're gonna take that on our C30. And then I'm just kind of pulling this and sharpening. Ooh, while I have you here, y'all have been leaving some beautiful, lovely, sweet reviews about the brushes in my DMs. But if you could copy and paste those and put them on the website, I would be forever grateful. I'm gonna give you this tip really quickly. I've also really been into this mascara. But listen, what I want you to do is I want you to wiggle this into your lashes. You can even look down, it's easier. Then I want you to shut both eyes. I'm just trying to shut both eyes, but I'm just seeing where I'm at so you can see how I'm holding my hand here. And then I'm gonna roll this through. And not only does this coat all of the lashes, but it also keeps your lid cleaner. So I'm just applying the same lash I had on yesterday. These are Moonlight. And then this applicator's from House of Lashes. Then I'm gonna let it sit there. Give it 20 seconds. Then I'm gonna take these little clampy tweezers and I'm gonna press these into my natural lash. I feel like these need to be pulled over a little bit more, and I probably can. Yep, I can a little bit. And then just pinch them together. And then as this outer part dries, I like to hold it up a little. So on this side, we're gonna do the powder foundation. So we need extra blending time for sure. I'm gonna do 2 drops of the Elemis oil. But even though I'm balanced to dry, I want you to notice that I'm gonna skip this area. I just don't need the oil there. So we're not gonna place it there, but we are gonna place it where we're gonna place the bronzer. And if you already have an oil, you just want it to be a dry oil. And a way to test that would be the exact same way that I just did the bronzer, or just put it on the back of your hand. And as long as you still have moisture, but it's not sliding all around, that's a dry oil. You will be able to tell. I know you will. Now for this side, I do like the oil, but I'm not gonna add any more. I would do, remember this is gonna be the liquid foundation. I would do the same over here, but with just 1 drop. So 2 drops for the powder, because powder foundation, it really enjoys that extra moisture. And you'll see why in just a second. But let's go ahead and place it over here, but I'm applying so much less of the oil over here. Still avoiding the center, even though I'm balanced to dry. So if you're oily, do not be afraid of a dry oil. Don't be afraid. So this is gonna be the powder foundation side, and it's kind of an underpainting situation. So if you wanna use your creams with your powder foundation, it is almost impossible to do that on top. Even for where I'm at in my makeup journey, it's going to be much harder. It can be done, and I can do it, and I'm sure some of you can, but let's help others, and let's just show this technique. Putting it under, so much easier. So much easier. I wish somebody would have told me. But listen, I think we might even need one a little bit darker than this. But this is the Huda one, and remember, this is the one that would dry down. But again, that oil is gonna give us more playtime. Okay, so I layered this up a little bit more, and it's going to look absolutely feral. And the reason why is because we need a lot of pigment underneath there. We have to have it. I'm even gonna show you how we're gonna put on concealer. I'll even do corrector. Let me grab corrector. But this needs to be darker than what you would ever normally think, because remember, it's getting completely covered up. And not only that, it's getting covered with powder foundation, which is usually more pigmented. So let me show you corrector, or not, because they've all ran away. There it is. So I used the peach one. Love this one from e.l.f. This is what we would do if you were into correcting. Now would be the time. And then we need a C40, C31. Ran away, there it is. Now let's press this in. This needs to be very, very, very thin. Next, we would add concealer wherever we need concealer. I'm just gonna do a little bit. You can do as much as you would like, but just make sure that you're making a very thin layer, and that will take a second to blend it out. I will say underneath the eye, I prefer loose powder. And the reason I prefer that loose powder is because it's usually more finely milled. That's what loose powder is. Very thin, very, very, very small particles. And that looks a lot smoother underneath this very delicate area. So you might see me do that. It's actually not a bad idea. And then if you want to do some highlighting, now would be the time to kind of clean this up a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm gonna take whatever's left on my brush, just kind of go over my little extraction, and then I'll just take it over this way. Okay, we're getting somewhere. So remember, this would normally be dry by now, but it's not. We have so much more blending time. No patchiness. It's not gonna patch up because it just has something to help it stay in its blendable form. I've actually talked about the technique we're doing here. I talked about it, I believe it was November 8th. Here's the video if you wanna go check it out. It was actually before the whole underpainting thing went wild. Underpainting is not new. I have never, ever, will ever say I invented anything ever. But that was before the whole wild TikTok phase got going, and it's a really good technique. So that's like a quick roundup, but here you're getting the full masterclass. So this is a fantastic example of something that dries instantly. I never want to say that I dislike a product, because this is a wonderful, beautifully pigmented, long lasting, but the only reason I don't rave about it is because it can be a very challenging product. And I don't even like to dot it on my face. I know that's what you're expecting. And I also want you to notice that I wiped off the entire wand. See how much is there? This is a fantastic product, but this product has a learning curve. But guess what? That's what I'm here for. Okay, so we have it here on our hand. And again, this is going to go on before we put any of the powder. So I'm going to pick it up evenly on my C41. And I'm actually going to go to town applying it. That little bit, look. You know, I feel like brands, they release beautiful, I did pick up a little bit more. They release beautiful products, but there's not a lot of education that goes into them. And I wish we had more education. Okay, so that looks great. Again, that's absolutely feral. You just go to Makeup Town. I'm gonna grab a little bit more off the back of my hand, minus the Gene Bean hair. Apply a little bit here where the sun would naturally hit. This is also a really good way to kind of bring your orangey bronzers back to a little bit more of a neutral, maybe even a little bit more of a red. Okay, a little here. We're getting to the good part. All right, friends, we're getting to the good part. I just need to find my C31 again, smooth out this concealer. I am gonna set this with the Givenchy powder just underneath the eye. Again, we talked about that. Don't wanna get too repetitive, but I feel like I needed repetition when I first started my makeup journey. Okay, now that under eye is set. Ooh, that is smooth. Now, back into the powder foundation. Oh, I love this powder foundation. And we're using the C42. We haven't even dipped back in yet either. Look at this blur. Look at that. Look how pretty that is. This is so fast. Usually this is an incredibly fast process. I'm gonna dip back in. 1, 2. It's not gonna be as fast when I'm sitting here trying to tell you all the things that I know and all the things I'm even learning as I go. It's like I just put on a filter, but I didn't. Isn't this fun? Also, oh my gosh, the C42 brush. Oh my gosh, I love it. Ah. We'll grab a little bit more. Kind of clean up here. Now I want to do my forehead. You'll have to see the whole process. So pretty. Oh, Jean's deepen. Fun, right? So that's one way to use creams. That's one way. I'm going to show you this way too. So this is going to be the same C42 that we just used. I'm just wiping it off on my chest because I'm just going to go ahead and grab some kind of liquid foundation. Which one are we grabbing? I've kind of just been using the, let's see, actually this might be a good one because this is the long wear one. And we talked about long wear foundations and how quickly they can dry. We'll use this one. This is the one from KVD. I have a couple videos on that right now, but we'll use it right now. We'll do 2 pumps. And we talked about it drying down. So make sure that you watch those videos because if you have questions here, they're probably recently answered as to why is it so light? So many different questions. But I will say you're seeing the C42 go from a powder foundation and straight to a liquid foundation with just wiping it off just on my skin. Remember working? I was saying even how I'm putting on this foundation is recently posted. So always feel free to ask questions, but the videos that I post that are super helpful. So watch those too. Okay. I have to repeat this, and it is in one of the videos, but that little small amount of oil that's over here is going to help this not dry down as quickly. So if I want to build it up here, I can. No separation, no makeup drama here. But it is going to help us be able to work with this. And the reason I picked this foundation is because it does dry very quickly. And layering on top of long wear foundations, think Estee Lauder Double Wear. Think of that. That's a hard one to go over. So this is a great formula. I'm trying to think if we just want to use that same bronzer or if we want to use a different one. So I'm sure that y'all know we would use corrector. I could use it again. I keep misplacing things. All right, we'll use it just to make it even. Let's see if we can get this looking pretty even on both sides. That might be interesting, right? C31. Ooh, I'll tell you what we are gonna get. Snored on over here. Lord, Jean. Jean's a kitty. It's not my significant other. It's not a dog. It's an orange cat that just absolutely has the hardest life ever. And I know I make my cat work 3 jobs, so he's taking his little hour nap in between his 3 jobs that he has, because obviously he has 3 or 4 jobs to sleep and snore like he does. He has a hard life, that kitty cat. And by the way, I'm using the same corrector that's already been labeled. I'm using the same concealer that's already been labeled. And I put a little bit too much underneath my eye because I'm laughing at my Jean Bean cat. So I'm just gonna take it and apply it here. And you know, these, I will say that I love the brushes. Obviously, I love the brushes, but these are very thought out, even in shape and size. And when you're working with certain foundations, and most foundations, working in smaller areas and tapping is always a really good idea. And the reason why is because this helps not to disturb everything we have going on. So if I was to use a brush fluffier or a brush less dense, I could have patching and lifting. Not always, I don't want to say that with everything, but I always found that to be one of my struggles. So that's why the brushes are the way they are. Let's go ahead and use this one. And the reason I want to use it is because usually pairing this long wear, which dries, with this type of bronzer that sets, we talked about this, it can be tricky. And again, I have to mention the fibers on this brush. They are very soft. They pick up product and they place product. They don't lift this because they're so soft. Also, if you want to, obviously, I want you to always use what you have. So we're never going to swipe. Please don't swipe. I will tell you everything. We'll sit here and talk about these brushes forever, but if you want to just use what you already have, please just press. Do you see how that just melted in? Do you see this? We don't have no patchiness. That's so pretty. Just, if you take anything from what we're learning here, press. Don't pull. Don't buff. Just press. So let's go ahead and work this in. Put it on the side of the nose. Just want to show you how blended everything looks. I hope we're learning something today. That looks good. I also need to mention, there is no powders over here whatsoever yet. No powders. Powders will just slow us down. We're going to have some patchiness, some chaos. We don't have time for that. We don't have time to wash all this off with tears. Now, back to this. Same technique. I feel like a lot of people really love this, as they should. It's a wonderful product. But I also feel like a lot of people that watch certain videos, they went and got it, and then they didn't understand that it was wild because, again, I just wish a little bit more education went into products. So a lot of you might have got it. You might have just put it on with the stamp. It probably took off some of your makeup because it's a doe foot applicator. And not only that, it's a very spongy doe foot applicator. I might do another video on that. And it probably just went wild, and it's very, very, very pigmented. And look at this. This is also important. The way that I'm going to pick this up, I'm going to smooth that out on my hand first. And I know it's a whole process. And you might think, well, that's not quick. But if we do it the other way, there could be makeup consequences. Now, the reason that we smoothed it out is so we could really pick it up nice and even. I know. Now the brush is going to pick it up very evenly. See, look at that, right? Wonderful. But if there had been a little lump here, there'd be a lump in here, then there'd be a lump on my face. No. So let's go ahead and apply this. Ooh, it is so pretty. Look, and now it's just right on top of the foundation. It's not pulling the foundation. It's not separating the foundation. I wish somebody would have told me these things because I needed help. And I'm gonna go a little bit heavier just to match over here. This is actually gonna wind up matching on both sides. Yes. A little bit here. A little bit there. Givenchy powder, just like on this side, and a puff. Yes. I'm gonna go ahead and set kind of the center of my face with the Givenchy powder. And normally I wouldn't use any more powder, but I've really fallen in love with this powder. And if we do a very small amount, because it is very pigmented, let's just do a small amount over everything. So did we learn? I feel like we learned a lot on putting on lip gloss. This is pretty. I don't know why I hiss. This is the Infallible from L'Oreal 8-Hour Pro Gloss. That's fun. I'm just trying it out. It was in my drawer. I like it. What's the shade? There it is. Oh, there it is. 805 Suede. I feel like we learned a lot today. I feel like a lot was learned. That was a lot. And we were even talking about formulas. Y'all better watch out. I'm gonna start breaking it down. I'll start telling you exactly what's in it and why it's doing it. I'm trying my best to learn those things. It's important to know those things, especially for education and to continue to help. So I'm trying my best. But for right now, it's just easier for me. I know a lot of us, we don't have the time. We don't have the time to break it down and figure out why it's doing it, but I'll show you the products that are doing it and how to kind of test. That bronzer check, that was good. All right, so now I'm gonna go film some more stuff. It's actually gonna be on these. I gotta grab them, hang on. These new matte blushes from Charlotte Tilbury. I'm really enjoying kind of showing y'all different ways to use products, just like I did the Rare Beauty, just like I did the Huda Beauty bronzer. I'm really enjoying that. So if you happen to pick this up, I'm gonna show you how I would apply it, because I feel like the techniques that I have acquired, they kind of make it to where we don't waste product. Say we bought something and we didn't love it, there's a way. There's a way. And even if you do love this, you might even love it more with the technique that I'm going to show you. So I thought that that would be really fun. Instead of just reviewing and reviewing and reviewing, which I haven't really been doing as much, if you've noticed, it's really just been about helping and even showing you even in the ads, it's showing you ways to use the product instead of displaying like, I love it, which I like those videos too. I was saying I like those videos too, but for right now in my makeup journey, I just want to be as helpful as possible. That's what I want. That's where my heart is right now. I just want to be helpful. And I hope that this video is helpful. Now I'm gonna go film this, and I gotta take this off. I won't take my eye makeup off, but I kind of can't get over how both sides look so similar. I love it. All right, I'm gonna go do things. I've got things to do. I want more coffee. Okay, I love y'all with all of my heart, and I'll see you in the comments tonight. If your under eye is turning gray like this,